So many different times in my life, I've played with broken or hurt things, broken foot, broken leg, broken hand, broken arm, broken sternum, broken collarbone. I could keep going if I just thought more about bones. Why, man? Because I loved it. I loved playing the game. I was passionate about it. One of the reasons I even get encouraged at seeing all of you here. Do you know why I get encouraged by that? Is because you could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you. And they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zuttner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. Now we here.
Arthur Greeno, how are you, my friend?
I'm great.
Hey, I'm excited to be with you this morning. And if at any point I harass you or my quality control standards dip down a little bit, just kick me under the table, okay?
Really?
Well, no, please don't. I wasn't being candid. So, okay, we're talking about merit-based pay and using the wallet to inspire good decisions.
Cool.
Now, Arthur, in the Service Profit Chain, that is a book written by some Harvard professors. They write, customers don't buy products or services, they buy results. Somebody watching might say, well, obviously, but just to give a quick, unbiased comparison between 2 organizations that we all know about and how merit-based pay really does make a difference, think about this for a second. This is according to truckinginfo.com, or you can check out Bloomberg. It's public knowledge. UPS in 2013 made about $4 billion. About $4 billion in 2013, roughly. Okay, so if you're watching this and you're like, no, it was 3.9, it's okay, get over it, it's about $4 billion. Now, according to the New York Times, in that same year, 2013, the good folks at the USPS lost nearly $5 billion. So potentially, think about this, UPS made $4 billion, United States Postal Service lost $5 billion. Now, UPS is known for their tight management systems and their merit-based pay. Well, the USPS has become kind of a punchline of jokes. You know, people always joke about the USPS, and it's kind of known for its massive yearly losses. So I think for most people watching this seems like common sense. You know, and yet in many businesses throughout the world, it seems like we are not setting up these merit-based pay systems. So it seems like it's common sense that you would pay people based on performance, but yet in most businesses it doesn't happen. And I know, as an example, in the first 5 years I was in business, I did not have merit-based pay in place. I just paid you, and I paid you well, and I expected you to do your best. And it didn't happen. So I want to get into this here. So Arthur, one of the things I've noticed as I've studied Quick Trip and the Marriott and Disney World and Apple is they all have some sort of merit-based pay system in place. And so just so we don't lose anybody, I'm going to read the definition of what the word merit means, and then I'm going to interrogate you with some questions on implementing this stuff.
Lay it on me.
Now, according to Webster, here's the definition of the word merit. It says a good quality or feature that deserves to be praised. So basically, a merit-based pay system involves paying employees based upon their performance and their results, not their intentions. So let's get into this real quick at Chick-fil-A. You have thousands of customers that come in and out. 2,000 of them a day?
Right around there,
How many employees do you have?
About 150.
Do you have employees that you've hired before that did the worst possible performance that you allowed?
Yes.
And did you have some employees that would just go over and above, like for whatever reason, they have a desire to be awesome?
Yep.
Did you pay the guy who's awesome more than the person who did a bad job?
Yes.
Okay. Walk me through the specifics. Let's say I work for you at Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And I'm working the front counter.
Okay.
And this guy over here is working the front counter. And let's say that I am not a hard worker, I do not do a good job, and this person does a good job. Walk me through how you pay us differently. How does that process work?
Right. So for us, we kind of have a standard entry level of pay. And it depends on their availability, what they can work. You know, if they're 15, years old, or if they're 17 years old, their experience level.
Okay.
But then once they get in, then it's really about how are they performing? How are they? What does training look like? And when you first get an employee in there, a lot of times the only thing you really have to go by is really how's their training program working. And so, for example, Chick-fil-A has an online training program that even the employees can even go online and do their training from home. Now, I don't encourage this because we're supposed to pay people to train.
Yeah.
However, it's always super impressive when you have that employee that's worked for you for 2 weeks and they come in and at the end of the week we can see how much training they've done and they've knocked out 10 modules.
So over here is the employee who's watched all 10 modules. Mm-hmm. And there is me, and I have not watched a single module.
That's right.
And we came in at the same pay.
Right.
We're both making, I'm just going to make up a number. Let's say we're both making 10 an hour. I'm not saying that's the number, I'm just, here's an example.
Sure.
We both start off at 10 an hour.
Right.
At what point do you start to separate and pay this person more than me?
Well, it could be as quick as 30 days. Because
really?
within 30 days, you're going to see a definite, this person's going to be doing more. If they know more, they're going to be doing more. They're going to be engaging with the customers better. They're going to be staying busy. And if you are not staying busy, for one, you might not even make it 30 days.
So now, how much of this person's pay, if we both work at Chick-fil-A,
right?
How much of our pay, if we worked for you, is determined based on our performance?
Well, once they step into a leadership position,
yeah.
And if somebody is coming in there and they're aggressively looking for opportunities, they're doing their training, they're paying attention to things, they could, when they get to a team leader, they would earn the most amount of money that they could earn as a team member, and then we would basically raise them up about 20%, which would be in a bonus form.
So just as an example, if I was making 10 an hour, and this person's making 10, this person can make 12 an hour after merit-based pay.
Absolutely.
So another $2 an hour, another almost $100 a week, $80 a week, simply by doing their job well. If I'm not doing my job well, I'm making less by $80 than the person who is doing well.
That's right.
Now, if you're watching this, I want to throw out some examples for you. Do you know that at Quick Trip, that's the gas station chain, very, very popular. They have mystery shoppers that come in their stores all the time. And the cashiers, their pay, it's merit-based pay. Mm-hmm. So if I do a good job working as a cashier, I'm getting paid more than the person who's not. But think about what it says to your staff if you don't have some sort of merit-based pay in place, where if every single person makes the same. Now, I met a guy in manufacturing, and he paid people not per hour, but he said per item that you produce to a quality level, I'll pay you. So if you produce, if I working on the same assembly line, if I'm getting 3 items made per hour and you're getting 1, mm-hmm. I make 3 times as much. And it was just based on performance. We've got to find some way to pay people based on performance. Without getting too much into social science, why can't you just pay everyone the same amount and expect them to do the same quality of work?
Well, you can always expect it, but it doesn't happen.
Why?
Because people aren't wired the same way.
I just want to make sure you're hearing this. This is not a study on capitalism versus socialism, but I want to make sure you hear me here. I have done this before. I have literally paid my staff in this. I had this utopia. I think when you come out of college, a lot of times you have this utopia worldview. And I'm like, I'm going to pay every single one of my DJs 33% actually, of what the customer pays us. So the customer pays $600, I'm paying the DJ $200. I don't care if he's a brand new guy, if he's a hard worker, if he's a slacker. Everyone's going to work hard because I'm going to pay him great. So I don't care if they've been a poor worker at every other job. I'm going to pay them so well, they're going to do great. And I paid everybody great. And I remember coming back and looking at their feedback from customer reviews and going, why did you not try? Why did you do a bad job? And they're just like, well, I wasn't that, and you discovered that the employee was not motivated. And it didn't matter how much you paid the employee, he wasn't motivated.
Yeah.
And so I found that the employee who was motivated deserved to make more, and the employee who was not motivated deserved to make less. And you start to learn that over time there. Now, I realize that you are an entrepreneur that operates within the confines of the incredible Chick-fil-A system, and that you might be limited in certain ways on what you can do and can't do. But have you noticed that within Chick-fil-A, is there a merit-based pay? I mean, have you noticed that like the higher up you go up the company, there's people being paid? Are people being promoted because they're awesome? Or are people just kind of, is there a culture there of merit-based pay or rewarding top performance there?
Well, the operator agreement that Chick-fil-A has is pretty much, that's how it works, is that if your store is a high-volume store and you pay attention to the things that are important, whether it's the customer service or your profitability, whatever, you will make more money. It's the built-in merit-based pay.
So if you run your store well, you're a good operator, you're a smooth operator. But if you're serving more customers and doing a better job, you as an operator make more.
That's right, absolutely.
Are there people who look at some of the stores that you have and some of the massive amounts of customers that you see per month and per year and per week who maybe say, well, you're just lucky? Or do you have some of that competition between operators every once in a while where there's...
Yeah, there is some of that, and to some degree, some of it may be that you're lucky.
Okay.
In my situation was a little different because of, as I worked up through the chain, I had one of the worst stores in the chain. I had to progressively get better and then, ask for different opportunities to where I'm at now. But years ago, like if they have a new market that's growing and they're just trying to bring people into new markets, it's possible that could happen.
Have you seen operators who are in kind of weird markets who are doing awesome because they just are running an awesome operation?
Absolutely.
Have you seen this?
Yes.
I just want to make sure you're hearing me here. Chick-fil-A, though, is a corporate entity, has found a way to create merit-based pay because you get paid based on how well your store does.
That's correct.
And then you as an operator have found a way to motivate your staff and pay them on a merit-based pay system. So whoever works harder gets paid more. Now, the service profit chain, they make this quote here. It says, outstanding organizations have to be managed for results. They don't create products or services. They deliver results. Their managers define their businesses and their missions in terms of results, not products or services. So what they're saying here is that you ultimately have to manage your team for the results they produce. Mm-hmm. How do you manage your team for results when it comes to the drive-through and the bathroom? I mean, how do you manage a team for results when you're in a fast food business?
Well, for us, one of the things we do is we have manager meetings every week. Every week they have manager meetings, and they will go over the important things, whatever that may be. If drive-through speed is something that's important to us, then that's what we're focusing on. If we're focusing on waste at the store, if we're focusing on quality, whatever it may be, and at different times, we may say, you know what, let's go ahead and stop focusing on this and focus on this instead.
So management meetings every week, you have those meetings, and then you focus on the quality that's being produced at each area at that point? Okay. Now, can you tell me about a time that you've rewarded an employee with a merit-based pay bonus based upon their performance?
Well, every one of my managers is on a merit-based pay. They basically, they receive 20% of their pay is based in performance.
Okay.
And those attributes for us happen to be the level of customer service, our profitability, and keeping some controllables in line.
If you're watching this, I just want you to totally grasp this for a second here. Southwest Airlines is known for being a great airline from a customer service perspective. Mm-hmm. Quick Trip, UPS, stores we like have a merit-based pay system in place. Stores we do not like do not. Places such as USPS. It's a thing where that's just the real. I mean, that's just the reality. I mean, anybody who's ever gone to a place where the quality is substandard consistently across the whole chain, you're probably seeing a chain that does not have merit-based pay.
Yeah.
It's super, super important that we do this. Now, Arthur, if I'm watching this and I own a business and I have a few employees who simply are not getting the job done and not working hard, what action steps can I take to begin to implement a merit-based pay system that would reward my top people,
right,
and somewhat penalize the bottom performers? I mean, if I don't, let's just say all my staff right now, if I'm watching this and everyone on my staff is just making $10 an hour or $45,000 a year or whatever, everyone's making the same amount, mm-hmm. What steps can I begin to take to implement a merit-based pay system?
Well, one of the things I want to touch on is in John Maxwell's books, he talks about the 80-20 principle.
Okay.
20% of the people are going to do 80% of the work. Mm. And if you really look at your industry, there is, especially like management, they're going to be making sure it's all done. Most of it's done. And so like 80% of the things are getting done.
So again, that principle, the 80-20 principle, that's written about by John Maxwell.
Yes.
In his book, 21 Laws of Leadership.
Yes, sir.
And what he's saying is that 20% of the people in any organization pretty much do 80% of the work.
Right.
And I guess an example would be, have you ever volunteered to do something at a church or in some sort of nonprofit organization? Or do you remember doing a paper in college where it was a group project? Isn't there always one person who does the majority of the work and everybody else just kind of sits back and watches it happen? This is just human nature. And we want to make sure that we are rewarding the person who's doing that work.
Yeah.
So that way they want to do the work more often and they feel rewarded. Because nothing feels worse than working really hard, carrying a bunch of slouches, and then not to get rewarded for it financially.
That's right. That's right.
Arthur, I appreciate you so much for coming in here and talking with us today. And I just want to recap real quick for the Thrivers watching this, some stuff we can do. One action step is make sure that you set up a merit-based pay system of some kind. And every book that I've read, every case study that I've had a chance to read, they all talk about between 20 and 30% of an employee's check should be based on merit-based pay. So 1, set up a merit-based pay system. 2, it should be about 20 to 30% of somebody's check. 3, make sure that the grounds with which you're paying people, their merits, make sure that the determining factors that you're using to pay somebody their merit-based pay, that they are objective and or fair. So it shouldn't be like, well, anybody who I think is awesome, I'm going to give them a reward on Tuesdays. Because that's hard to know what that means. But as long as it's laid out, if you do this, this happens, and if you do this, that happens. And then the fourth thing I would say is I would make sure that you praise the heck out of top performers. Mm-hmm. Financially, but also just personally. Just tell them, praise them, make them heroes, make them superstars in front of your whole staff. Tell them how great they're doing so everyone looks at them and goes, man, I would like to do that too. But don't give them like a secret bonus where you're like, hey, good job, here's a secret bonus. Because if you do that, no one learns from that, and it kind of defeats the point of having a merit-based pay system.
And sometimes it doesn't have to be that your reward for them is always about finances. It could just be as simple as, just recognition. A pat on the back. There's a number of different ways to do it.
Let me give you the 5 moves that I know as far as non-financial rewards. Maybe you have a few you want to add to it. 1, Employee of the Month, the title. Employee of the Month. That's huge. Some people love that. 2, the super parking spot, where you can park right next to the building. The 3rd is I see a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll basically put a plaque on the wall that acknowledges that employee. Fourth move you can do is the newsletter, where you send out a newsletter to your whole company and you tell all your staff, hey, Arthur's the man, here's what he did, that kind of thing. And the fifth one that I know is just that public praise, where you're in your staff meeting and in front of all their peers, you can say, good job, you are the man. Here's what you did well, and be very specific about it. So there's a lot of things you can do non-financially. Is there anything else that you do that's kind of a non-financial way to tell people thank you in a merit-based pay world? Well, you invite them over to swim with your alligators.
Yeah, and the ones that don't perform, we take the wrapping off from the alligators and let them swim with the alligators, free.
Quick backstory. Arthur has alligators that do you rent an alligator?
Yeah, we do.
He rents alligators, puts them into his pool, tapes their mouths so they can't bite the kids.
Yep.
And then his employees and kids swim with the alligators. This is a true story.
Yeah, happened yesterday.
And so his suggestion would be that if an employee's not performing, you just untape the mouth, and then it's a more interesting swimming experience. Okay, that's off. Don't actually do that. Do not do that. Okay. Hey, thank you so much, Arthur. I greatly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma during the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, 2024. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. Yes, folks, put it in your calendar. This December, the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business growth workshop. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to learn branding, you want to learn marketing, you want to learn search engine optimization, you want to learn social media marketing, that's what we teach at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop. If you want to learn accounting, you want to learn sales systems, you want to learn how to build a linear workflow, you want to learn how to franchise your business, that is what we teach at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to feature Michael Levine, the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson. We've had the top PR consultant in the history of the planet has spoken at the Thrivetime Show workshops. We've had Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, a company that creates apparel worn by celebrities all throughout the world. Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, has spoken at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshops. We have the man who's responsible for turning around Harley Davidson, a man by the name of Ken Schmidt. He has spoken at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops. Folks, I'm telling you, these events are going to teach you what you need to know to start and grow a successful business. And the way we price the events, the way we do these events, is you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes! We've designed these events to be affordable for you, and we want to see you live and in person at the 2-day interactive December 5th and 6th Thrivetime Show Business Workshop. Everything that you need to succeed will be taught at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Workshop, December 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the way we do these events is we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a question and answer session so that wonderful people like you can have your questions answered. Yes, we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a 15-minute question and answer session. It's interactive. It's 2 days. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been doing these events since 2005, and I'm telling you, folks, it's going to blow your mind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop is America's highest rated and most reviewed business workshop. See the thousands of video testimonials from real people just like you who've been able to build multi-million-dollar companies. Watch those testimonials today at thrivetimeshow.com simply by clicking on the testimonials button right there at thrivetimeshow.com. You're going to see thousands of people just like you who've been able to go from just surviving to thriving. Whoa. Each and every day, we're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup, but I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company.
Yep.
Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And someone says, Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrivetime Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered.
The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you. And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what you're saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say.
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And I said, no. And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed to the business owner to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.